Hello everyone. So for today's lab we'll start with the experiment 2, which is linear and circular convolution. So what is basically convolution? I hope you guys know what convolution is. Convolution is basically combining two signals to produce a third signal. So that is what is convolution is meaning. So we have different types of convolution. One is linear convolution and circular convolution. So in linear convolution what happens is you try to combine two signals which are not periodic, like the length of the two signals which you are trying to combine won't be same. You can have one signal length as 10 and another signal length as 5, and yet you can combine these two and produce a third signal. But in circular convolution the condition is both the signals should be of the same length and they should be periodic. So that is what is the main condition between linear and circular convolution. So here in linear convolution it tries to do the mathematical operation of combining these two signals by doing a linear shift. So basically in convolution what will happen is you will have one signal and in another signal you shift the signal and then try to combine these two signals. So that is how we convolve two signals. So in linear signal processing, that is in linear convolution, the two signals will be combined by doing a linear shift. But in circular convolution the thing is there will be a rotational shift. These two signals will be periodic and we will be doing a rotational shift in the signals and then combine the signals to produce a third signal. So linear and circular convolution both have a mathematical formula and you will be studying these two in detail in your DSP course theory. So you will have many examples in your DSP course for linear and circular convolution. You will be having problems based on that. So this is a very important topic. So today we'll see how to execute linear convolution and circular convolution in your MATLAB code. So like I said before, CLC clear all and close all is the default command in your MATLAB script. So CLC is for clearing your command window, clear all is for clearing your variables which are present in your workspace, and close all is for closing the figure windows which we got from the previous experiment. So now we are going to take input of two signals. So we are taking X as one input and H as another input. So X is your first sequence and H is your second sequence. We are trying to get these two in your command window. So when you are giving input for X and H, you can give the length as any number. So X can be like a 1 cross 5 array and H can be 1 cross 10 array. And now we are going to convolve these two signals. So Y is equal to CONV is the inbuilt command. So convolution of X comma H is your function. So this function will perform linear convolution. It's an inbuilt MATLAB function. So now we are going to use subplot to plot these three signals. So we are going to have 3 rows, 1 column, and it will display these signals one by one. So subplot of 3 comma 1 comma 1 is 3 rows, 1 column, and first position you are going to plot as a discrete sequence. So stem of X. So X you are plotting it as a discrete function. So you are giving Y label, X label, and again subplot of 3 comma 1 comma 2. So in the second position you are plotting H, that is your second sequence. You are giving X label and Y label, that is name for your X axis and Y axis. Now you are going to subplot of 3 comma 1 comma 3 stem of Y. So in the third position you are plotting the convolved signal. So here you are giving Y label, X label, and finally you are going to display your result in the command window. So disp is for displaying something in your command window and input is for getting input from your command window. So here you are displaying the resultant signal is semicolon Y. Y is your resultant signal, so that will be displayed in your command window. So this is the code. Now we are going to copy this and see how it is giving the output in our MATLAB. So we are connecting to the MATLAB app. So I am going to the files, creating a new file. So again I am insisting on the same thing. Whenever you are naming the file, keep in mind you are not using any inbuilt function. Since the name of the experiment is convolution, if you guys think you can name it as CONV, then again definitely it will show error and your MATLAB won't work afterwards. So you should be very careful while naming your files. So just give DSP experiment 2, or you can name the file by your name and name it as experiment 2. So create, paste. Here you can see the color change. So the variables are indicated in the purple color. So now we are going to click on the triangular icon and run the code. So it's evaluating. So now it's asking for the first sequence. So whenever you are giving input array values in a command window, always you should give it in a square braces. So opening the square bracket, I am just giving 1 space, 2 space, 3. So instead of space you can also give comma. So close the bracket, press the go. Now it's asking for second input. So now I'm going to open my square bracket. I'm just giving 5 space, 6 space, 7. Close the square bracket, press go. So it's evaluating the 2. And the resultant signal is, this is the array value. So Y is displayed here and the figure window is also open. Just click on the figure. You can see the first sequence, second sequence and the output sequence. So this is how you convolve two signals using linear convolution. So once you get the output, click on the top icon, press save to pictures and save your image. So this is how you do linear convolution. Next we'll see how to do circular convolution. The code for circular convolution. Here again your default commands CLC, close all, clear all also you can add. So now you are getting again two inputs, x equal to input of enter x of n value and h equal to input of enter h of n value. So the backslash n stands for next line. So when you give backslash n inside single quotes, which means that you are going to get the input in the next line. So backslash n is like the beginning of a next sentence. So you would have done all this in your fundamentals of computing lab. So MATLAB is just like that. So now you are going to get the length of the two sequences. M is equal to length of x and n is equal to length of h. So the two sequences you are getting the length. And now we are going to find the maximum of the two numbers. N is equal to max of m comma n. So you are checking which is the maximum value in this. So now for equating both sequence length. So here we are trying to create the same number of length for the sequences. So this is actually called zero padding. So like I said before, circular convolution can only be performed when you have two input sequences of the same length. So that is the important criteria for doing circular convolution. So first we are checking whether the two are same or if there is a maximum value. So if there is a maximum value, like one sequence is lengthier or longer than the other, then we are going to add zeros to the end of the sequence to make the sequences of the same length. Okay, so now we know that the input and output should be of the not the output, the input two sequences should be of the same length, right? So now first we are checking for the maximum. If it is not of the same length, then for equating the both sequence length, we are doing something called a zero padding. So this section we are doing zero padding to match the length of the two sequences. So first x is equal to x comma zeros of 1 comma n minus m. So we are taking the x sequence and then adding zeros, which is 1 comma n minus m. N is the difference between the two sequences. So if you have one sequence length as 10 and another sequence length as 5, then we will have 5 zeros to be added to the first sequence, I mean the second sequence. So the second sequence will be equal to the same length, that is 10. So that is how we add the zeros. So now we are doing the same for the second sequence, h is equal to zeros of 1 comma n minus n. So this will only add zeros only if there is a difference between the length of the two signals. So that is very important. If it is same, then this section won't be executed. Even if it is executed, no zeros will be added because the length is same. So now we are creating a loop. So for n is equal to 1 to capital N, capital Y of n is equal to 0, and then for I is equal to 1 to capital N, j is equal to n minus I plus 1. So here we are trying to do the convolution operation. So if j is less than or equal to 0, then j is equal to n plus j. So basically we are shifting the second sequence. So this is a rotational shift. So that's why we are doing it in a for loop. So if you look back at the linear convolution video, you can see that we don't do this convolution in a loop. So basically we give the convolution inbuilt function. So for circular convolution also you have a inbuilt function in MATLAB. It's called a C convolution, that is CCONV. So that inbuilt function will execute the same code in your MATLAB, but the thing is we are doing this experiment in MATLAB mobile app. So the mobile app doesn't have the digital signal processing toolbox. So we are trying to do this without using the inbuilt function. So that is why we are creating all these loops. We are doing zero padding and then giving the formula for the rotational shift and all. But if you are doing the inbuilt function CCONV, then we don't have to do all those things. We just need to give C convolution of the two sequences x comma h. Then you will run the code, then you will get the output. So if you are basically doing it in your laptop, then you don't have to do all those things. So now we are doing the circular shift and then ending that, and then the output y of n is equal to y of n plus x of y multiplied by h of j. So now we are doing the circular convolution. So again we are giving end. So whenever you are starting a loop, it's always important to close the loop. So if you give a if statement, you have to give a end. If you are doing a for statement, you have to give end. So you have two for loops, so two ends, and in the middle you have a if condition, and then you are ending that condition. So it's very important, or else your code will show the error. So now we are going to create a new variable n is equal to 0 to n minus 1. So to get the range of the all sequences. So now we are going to use subplot function. So here you can see in subplot we are not giving comma, we are just giving 311. So even without giving comma, this subplot will take the values. So first value will be your row, second value will be your column, and the third value is your position. So 3 rows, 1 column and first position. So we are displaying the first sequence in the command window. Dispofx will show your first sequence, and then we are going to plot it using stem so that it appears as a discrete sequence. We are giving x label, y label and a title, and then grid on. So grid on is a command to show grid in your output graph. So you can, when you are running this code, you can see that in output figure you have a background grids. So if you don't want that grid, you can always remove that line from your program. And then subplot 312, here you are trying to display the second sequence. So disp will display the sequence in your command window, and stem will plot the figure in your figure window. So you are giving x label, y label and title. Again you are giving grid for that, and subplot of 313 you are displaying convoluted sequence in your command window, and you are plotting the convoluted sequence in your figure window. So stem of n comma y, you are giving x label, y label and title, and you are turning on your grid. So now we'll copy this code and execute this code in our MATLAB app and see how it is executed.